Hi, I'm Keegan, and this is A Bunch of Gamers. This is our 200th episode of Werewolf the Apocalypse 20th Anniversary Edition, Appleton's Gambit. I'm going to go around and have my players introduce themselves.
I'm Tyler, and I play Kyle, also known as Guards the Low. He's a Philodox of the Children of Gaia.
Hi, I'm Sam. I play Cora. She's an Aruna in the Geta Fenris.
Hi, I'm Adam. I play Mark Guides the Fallen, and he's a Thurge of the Children of Gaia.
Hi, I'm Sean. I play Zeb Speaks-in-Sweet-Whispers. He is a Theurge of the Silent Striders.
Hello, my name is Riley, and I am playing Dimitri Howls-In-Memory, Lupus Galliard of the Bone Gnawers.
Hi, my name is George. I am playing William Grows-Matrices. He is a Arun of the Glasswalkers.
Last time, the Pax went up to several suburbs in Denver and caused chaos, destroying a water treatment plant. After which, they then went to Cleveland and robbed a Federal Reserve bank and gave the money back to the people as a way to create discord and civil unrest in the United States to get government pressure off the other werewolves. They now are driving back slowly after Zeb had reached out to one Dr. Appleton, former doctor of DNA and current technocrat of the technocracy. Zeb, your pocket starts to go off as your phone starts vibrating.
Team Underdog, what can I do for you?
Well, I did find a museum. It's a cute one down in Missouri. Are you anywhere near there? You've been traveling for about a day, and you are near Missouri, yes.
Yes, I think we can be there in a few hours.
Excellent. I'll be at the Courthouse Museum. I'll see you soon. And she hangs up.
All right. So, Courthouse Museum in Missouri here coming up. We have a couple hours to go. I want Howls-In-Memory to stay with the vehicle when we get there. We'll take a look around, at least where we go through the main entrance. And when we encounter her, I think we need to go. I want to go elsewhere, just from there. And it might even be moving around a little bit would probably be to our advantage, just depending on what this plays out to be. Any questions?
I do have a question, actually.
Yes, ma'am.
How well do we trust her? Because we're assuming that she's going to be there alone, but how well do we trust her on that?
In a lot of ways, I think she'd be stupid to show up alone. And if she had other people looking out, that's why I want to make sure we're looking out. I don't think it's a definite trap. If we were going to be waiting for her to hunt us down, I feel like that would have already happened. If she's not alone, I think that might actually be an advantage because there means she has some people that she can trust, assuming she hasn't become a total scumbag.
Okay, second question. How would we feel about sending a little Weaver friend to listen to her phone? There isn't, out of character, there's that little spider guy that we like.
Isn't Appleton very familiar with Weaver spirits?
Well, she is. You're talking about the spirit back in Denver. That would be Gutter Spike.
Yeah.
I think that given the power that namers have over spirits in general, that what we send wouldn't be what we got back.
Mm-hmm.
And remember too the cautionary tale of sending out spirits that are looking for something specific, and then other things are wondering what that spirit is specifically looking for. But I think if we part ways, there might be ways to observe her. I wouldn't just want them sent to her.
Okay.
Right? I want to play it a little bit loose just to make sure, because you make a really good point, Cora, that there could be others around, and again, they might just blend right in. So we'll keep an eye, ear, or nose out, depending on species, and make sure that we watch ourselves. So thank you for the tactical assessment. Anyone else?
Sounds simple as. Just meet old friend.
No one's expecting you to embrace her lovingly, Mark. The maturity part here is that we know plenty of scumbags in life that we've had to work with. Think about this as a less objectionable Fianna.
Oh, I'll give it to her credit. She hasn't repeatedly come after me.
Wherever we go after the courthouse, I think it should stay in the spirit. I'm sorry, not courthouse, museum it should stay in that spirit, somewhere quiet but populated and peaceful.
Like a park?
Parks are maybe a little too open. If we're somewhere with people, but in a more enclosed area, we're less likely to get, well, space lasered or sniped.
Is there a botanical garden nearby this museum? People, less open, very naturey.
I was just thinking maybe a food court or a cafeteria. Or a botanical garden. There's ambience. We'll figure it out on the old GPS and determine the best one. We've got a few hours on the way there, and we can, again, walking there could be to our advantage if we think that there are people watching her. And so if it's something that we can go on foot. We're probably not going to get space lasered in the street either, but yes, once space lasered, twice shy. I appreciate that. We might be needing to get a new car after this one too, though.
No, for sure. I'd also suggest that Kyle activates his truth earring while we're speaking with her.
I will be. We should lose the car in a junkyard, I think.
Fair enough. After this, again, in case we need to get away.
Yeah.
So, with all that, you do get to the courthouse museum. You see her gently sitting on a bench, holding a book open, blending in quite well with the people around her, except for that same sort of rigid, controlled posture, and her icy gaze occasionally looking up from the book and scanning the area around her.
What we'll do is Kyle and I can go and approach, and then when we'll move from this bed. If we can get her to kind of walk around, that's when the others can be there. So we're not just standing around a bench with one woman, right? So we can collect ourselves up and then find a spot if we move out of here, to at least keep it look fairly natural, like she ran into us, right? Otherwise, it's going to look like we're robbing her or trying to abduct her from this place. And I'm assuming there's at least some cameras in the museum. Giving a quick glance around, Keegan, to determine that.
Yeah, there's likely some inside. The museum is graced with an old artillery in the front. It's got a nice gazebo nearby, as well as the right behind the bench she is sitting on, as well as some pieces of art.
All right, great. So, I mean, he'll defer to the two full moons here to kind of just position themselves to where they'd see advantageous, and Tyler and I can make our approach. And he's gonna kind of like shuffle and bebop up, and as Zeb's like walking up, he's just gonna kind of like, when criminals in this world appear and frighten all who see or hear, the cry goes up both far and near. Jillian, great to see you.
Ah, Zebulon, it's good to see you. Will you tell Cora that her eyes are burning a hole in the back of my dress when you get a chance?
We certainly will. We weren't sure if you've actually made any friends yet or not.
I know a few, and they're about, but have to keep the cells separate.
Most definitely going to sense Worm while we're standing here with her, Keegan.
Okay.
Even though I probably won't. If she's smart, she's better than me at this already.
Alright, you don't get any sort of worm smell off of her?
I appreciate that approach. A decentralized one is good. Do you want to take a walk?
I do, but first let's start at the museum. That is why I did come here.
Well, I do have a heart for justice.
I
Or vengeance.
suppose so.
Maybe it's vengeance. Yeah, I conflate the two quite often. Is it justice or vengeance, Kyle?
I think you often switch between the two.
Oh, I am mercurial, am I not?
I know you are. Don't worry. You have a leash long enough to hang yourself with.
No. I'm part of an extinct people, Jillian. I don't have much time anyway.
Perhaps so. She stands up and starts to walk in there. Gentlemen, please, walk in. It's a fairly nice museum. You've got, various artifacts regarding what was in the courthouse, items and papers from the time period, old pictures of the town nearby, and then like a bunch of other, old kind of historical stuff. It's small. I mean, it's not a huge museum by any means. It's kind of not quite a tourist trap, but definitely one of those smaller museums that local towns have that, really captures all their kind of pride, despite no one else knowing what the fuck the name of the town is.
Before we get too into anything, just to, ask, you're not planning on hurting us, are you?
That wasn't the plan, but I'm always happy to oblige if you try and do anything towards me. And that comes out as a truth.
Good. Good.
And so, will we be joining your other companions?
They'll merge onto the highway with us here as we make our way around.
Very well. As I said, I just want to make sure that I'm safe, and so I've taken all the precautions I need. I know that you have that hothead Mark, and if you're anything, and if he's still around, what was his name? Roy? I suspect he would be causing trouble soon as well, so I want to make sure I am well protected.
Well, Mark is here and he has excellent hearing. As for the other one, you played your hand a little bit on your currency of information. He's been gone for some time. But I will tell you this much. This was a call that was done in earnest, in the same way that we gave you warning that things levels above you in the corporation were not as they seemed. And I told you again, there's a difference between people you find objectionable or not to your liking versus people that are truly terrible. I'm classifying you in the former. Others might not, but I am. And that is the spirit of this meeting here now.
It is, and I have others looking into the situation. And I've been reaching out to some of my other less cordial acquaintances, similar to yourself. And given, well, the issue, as they say, the old joke, a doctor, a banker, and an engineer walk into a bar, it has to be dealt with.
I have to imagine that this nation being at war and the course that it's taking right now and the accelerated pace that it's undertaken to are all things that are machinations beyond just the incompetence of governments or the zeal of fools. So I'm with you on this.
You'd be surprised at how far the zeal of fools go. No, think of his plans as simply bringing down barriers, occasionally and subtly, for the worst impulses of our fellow man.
Well, I suppose then I can align those to some of the actions that have taken place in the West right now, and I see clearer now, thank you. But to more practical pieces of all of this, again, we may be on borrowed time. I think we're both being watched intermittently. We've tried to keep moving. I don't know what means you have, nor do I care, and I won't pry. But I think we need to do more. I think we'd be mutually beneficial to do so. There are other people that we are trying to work with in other areas to do the same. Our goal at the end of this is to prevent complete collapse of the world. Whether or not I'm alive at the end of it, I don't really care. Most of us, again, recognizing that we probably won't make it. It would be nice if something did after all this. I would hope we agree philosophically on that.
We do, and I can say that we do have some plans in motion. The Dimension Storm has nearly ended, but I can't go too in detail, not here, and especially not you so armed with, well, your phones in a place with cameras. We'd have to find somewhere else, and specifically somewhere out of the reach of the open sky and CCTV cameras.
We're not against a change of venue. If it's a place of your choosing, though, recognize we're putting an awful lot of trust. But I did call. Is there more you wish to say here before we make that move?
No, let's continue on. As she kind of leads you guys out, her eyes glance over to Cora, who is outside, and then over to where Mark is. She does not clock William right away, but she notices something about the people that are moving around him instantly, and then clocks him instantly. So what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the driver there I assume is yours, so 6?
Correct.
Oh, for little old me.
Well, we always travel together.
It's good to have friends, I suppose. Though, it seems, from my professional opinion, you might be developing a bit of a codependence.
Oh, I think we've breached the codependence threshold a long time ago, Doctor. It's a deep-seated neuroses, but incurable, I'm afraid.
Either way, you have to leave all of your phones and electronics behind. I will be doing the same. At least anything that can connect to the internet. Not on you. Not on your person. I will carry anything that I need to defend myself from you. And I am letting you know that I am carrying it upon me to defend myself from you if you so choose to be violent. I've seen how people with your condition tend to lash out and are unable to control themselves sometimes in stressful situations.
Yes, that is the case, particularly for the younger of us. But when you reach our level, our rank, we have contingencies. And I can stop both myself and anyone from harming you.
I have heard of your mythologies and the strange powers that your condition gives you, and I've observed those powers, but please, this way. As she goes, she puts a basket down that's like a little mini Faraday cage and opens it up.
So once again, before we go, everything you said previously is true and you won't be influencing any of the devices we leave here?
Correct. That is.
I'm going to use Scent of the Oathbreaker.
Okay.
Just spend a gnosis so that if it turns out she's lying,
Sure.
we can track her extremely easily.
At least not now.
Mark will approach. Phoneless. That stuff's not for me. Hi, Jillian.
Oh, hello, Mark. You're looking well. That was a lie. Your truth earring.
Oh, come on, Jillian. You don't have to lie to me just because I'm a kid. It's the scars, isn't it?
I think it's the everything, but it seems that you need deep-seated therapy, and you've rejected it every step along the way, and then decided to get yourself in a codependent relationship with your companions, who are also of similar levels of delusion.
Oh, it's just part of the therapy. What also is helping me is coming up with silly nicknames for you. Apple Jelly is the new one. Previous one was Jill Jillikers.
I'm so happy you have found a way to amuse yourself.
All right, let's be about it.
As you all enter,
He's bigger than me, Jillian.
As you all enter the abandoned building, she walks fairly deep, just to make sure that you cannot be seen from the streets as well. Well, here is the deal, I suppose. We are working on reconnecting some of our technology to one of our stations up in, it's sometimes called Horizon, but we simply talk about moving through dimensions. We want to hook up there, see what we can scavenge before we start dealing with the good doctor and his companions. I have collected several of my kind, or several of my compatriots who have agreed to the tumult that is happening and where it likely stems from. I've also collected several reality deviants who constantly use their powers to break the laws of reality. And then as well, some other reality deviants in the same vein as, you. And even one of those with the strange blood condition that seem to have the need to feed. Those reality deviants. I believe they call themselves the Kindred. But we've collected several of your reality deviants, and they are all starting to agree to this plan.
I'm assuming that this plan involves striking multiple spots. If I recall what the good doctor is capable of, existing in one place isn't a problem that he has to deal with. He can be everywhere, it would seem. I don't think this is a physical body destruction situation, is it?
He has a body. He has simply warped things through his breaking of natural law. He has found a way to use science to aid him, and sometimes also blends it with some of the reality deviant arts, somehow. Regardless, it seems that he is not in multiple places, but more so that he is very good at keeping track of people because he has several contacts in high places regarding to listening to devices, connecting to them, and if need be, can use his own skill to hack into phones, devices, and the like to talk to them.
We were aware of this before. It was similar to the information we had that your inner council was compromised. And in that vein, the heads of other large corporations being compromised in a similar way. We've also seen similar compromise amongst what you refer to as the kindred. Our nickname for them is less generous. I am saying this because this is all deeply problematic, that we have pieces of organizations in their top portion of their hierarchy that, as you point out, have this level of access and are still making the mundane happen when we're trying to act against it. So, fine, to your first piece when we were still in the museum, that things are operating in cells, that is good. If there are a way that we can assist, that is better. There are some other resources that we ourselves are tapping into and using. And I'm saying this again in openness because I'm not a fool. What you're doing is important and we need it. And again, we are creatures of survival. Understand that again, control might be limited, but we still understand that tenet.
I see. Well, we are still continuing to gather our forces, and if there are other reality deviants of the same vein as you, who can do the impossible, though my old organization tried to make sure you conform to natural law. If there are others you think who can join, then we can get you in contact with a drop position. We can make sure that the drop positions are spoken to you, once again, outside of any sort of listening device, and give you a primary, a secondary, and a tertiary. When you do drop-offs and you think that any of the other ones are compromised, it will go down the list and you will receive new drop points to continue your duties to this conspiracy. Specifically, though, we do have a timeline as things continue to ramp up. Our goal is to start making serious plans and serious headways against the good doctor in his various hiding places by March next year.
I have one thing to offer and then a question. We have couriers that operate at speed with the tightest of security and secrecy, and you've probably encountered some of them. It is something that we can offer fairly easily as they function organically, consistently and constantly, without the aid of technology.
As long as they speak their messages to the ones we need them to, and, more importantly, they make sure to double and triple check. Technology is not nearby, at least communication technology, phones, cell phones, laptops, tablets, smart cars, smart homes. As long as they understand that bit, and they understand what those things are, as I know that your people tend to keep themselves ignorant of what humans are capable of, then I see no issue.
I would point out the hilarity of having to avoid the very things that your organization pushed upon humanity in the name of progress to suddenly now go to the noble savages of another people. But my contempt aside, I would ask why your change in philosophy. You're a dedicated academic, Doctor, good at what she did, maybe objectionable. Why the change? What turned this? I would like to know.
Because I do think that technology is good. But I do know who's controlling it. And my organization has made that error before in the past. And that is why I've changed how I am working within my constraints.
He'll look at Kyle to see, is she full of shit?
Nope.
Seems like you really believe that.
I do. I'm not a pathological liar.
I think we can work within these drops, as you say, to take certain actions. The other portion of this would be maybe not meetings between ourselves anymore, but again, meetings of this nature to ensure that what's being done is what needs to be done. Understanding that it's November right now, Keegan, right?
Yes.
That we're talking about 120 days, 4 months. All right. My man here, and he'll kind of like motion to William. has a lot of experience in dealing with folks that have gone a wayward way within an organization. He's a stoic type, but maybe he can give some of your people some tips if it ever comes to it. Otherwise, and he'll look to his comrades for other questions before we adjourn this meeting.
Out of character, have we talked with her at all? I believe the answer is no, but about Hawaii.
I didn't know.
Okay. So are you aware of how Hawaii happened?
The nuclear device?
Yes, that it was the good doctor who was responsible?
I had my suspicions.
Are you aware of any other facilities that he might be in control of?
He wasn't in control of that facility. That would have sparked up too many questions. He just was able to get that information thanks to his therapy sessions. Working in nuclear weapons is incredibly stressful.
So I suppose then that any of them could be compromised.
That is a safe bet at this point.
Do you believe we have anything to gain from taking out that information network, or is it too late?
I'm sure you could. The question is how much effort is it going to take? How many U.S. nuclear engineers are you going to kill? How many soldiers looking over nuclear weapons are you going to end, with or without evidence? And
No.
How are you going to avoid...
You've misunderstood me. The website, the mechanisms by which he feeds on this information. Some of it. Obviously, he has many avenues.
It's worth trying. However, telehealth is all the rage these days, if you catch my meaning. And you cannot guarantee that he doesn't have his tendrils in any other of those organizations.
No, and that's why I'm asking if you believe it's worth it. In the amount of time we have left, if it would actually reduce the information he has access to.
I don't. You would have to discredit the organization or kill a bunch of employees in a manner that would likely draw quite a bit of attention.
Kyle will sigh. You really must understand that we do have more available to us than just violence.
I'm sure you do, but how well have you been at executing that?
Well, any successes we have you wouldn't know about, I suppose.
Reducing his network would be helpful. However, I am skeptical that he would not notice that that network is starting to be clawed away from him.
Oh, no, he would absolutely notice.
My worry is that if he notices and catches you at the wrong place at the wrong time, and is able to talk with you, perform some therapy with you, how much would you talk? How much would you reveal about this? Even though I'm keeping you fairly in the dark, you do now have key information of when we want to attack, even if you don't know the where or the exact date anymore. And sure, I can change that date to throw him off the scent, but I'd also have to make sure that I kept tabs on you a little extra to make sure that you didn't disappear for an inordinate amount of time.
We are constantly disappearing for an inordinate amount of time. So poor luck on that. And he is already well aware of us. And well, we are a thorn in his side that he particularly hates, I think. So poor luck on that too.
Very well. As I said, you need to be somewhat independent. So if you think it's worth it, then you must pursue it.
There's an advantage of keeping things a little bit chaotic and random. If we suddenly showed a structured pattern feeding a strategy, it would definitely cue him off. I understand what you're saying.
Exactly. But that's where we're at. We must work together. I would say increase your network slowly, but 4 months is a good amount of time to bring in a few to understanding what's going on. Anything else?
I have nothing.
Then I bid you all farewell. And as she walks out, opens the Faraday cage thing, grabs her stuff, and leaves, leaving the little box for the rest of you.
Zeb will just kind of sing after, Speed of lightning, roar of thunder, fighting all who rob our plunder, Appleton. And go get his stuff out of the Faraday box.
Sounds good. Alright, so what's next?
Could you describe that little Faraday cage box for me? Is it something we could take?
Yeah, you definitely could.
That could have gone Much horribly worse. I almost wished her safe travels.
Well, good save.
I know. But where should we...
can get our kicks on Route 66.
I was just about to ask, where's our next place of shenanigans?
I think let's burn this car, metaphorically.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it's
Leave it at
something.
a junkyard and grab a new one.
Sounds like a plan.
Perfect. What time is it? Maybe we might be able to just break into a junkyard late at night and drop it off.
Yeah, you can wait till night because it was mostly in the like early afternoon when you met Appleton.
Okay.
So you drop off the car, waiting at night, steal another one, I'm guessing.
Yeah, and make sure like license plates are destroyed for the car we drop off. All the good stuff. Just because we drove this from crime scene to crime scene.
Sure.
Yeah.
So just want to make sure they don't get connected.
Yeah.
License plates, VINs, things like that.
Yeah. All right. Could I get a manipulation larceny from the one with the highest pool?
That is not me.
Well, I can also boost said pool. So, all right. I will spend 3 rage to boost my manipulation. And I do have a dot of larceny. What is the difficulty, sir?
We're gonna go with 8, just because it's such a small town. If you fail the roll, you still find a car, but people see you. Word gets out fast.
No, well, I mean...
So you're able to get the car. Zeb, you're all able to hunker in and start driving. Another day passes. Are you guys hoofing it back to Colorado then?
I think maybe we would have been talking about where we're going to be heading next, other than Colorado. That's what I thought. Or maybe we could take a longer route back to Colorado. You know, kind of do like a big old hook of the Midwest from Colorado, you know, and then come back up from south. Like, you know, I mean, is there any cairns in like on the way back that we can help out?
I'm sure there's several, but that seems to go against the causing civil unrest and avoiding Karen's plan that...
Oh, okay. That's what I meant
Right.
to say. Yeah.
Maybe we get back and try to see how things have played out so far back home before we decide where we go next. Unless we think there's a target opportunity, I would want to like get off of Route 66 and go do something. I suppose we could, if there was some hot spot on the news or otherwise.
You could definitely be searching the news. Oh, yes, Kyle.
I mean, I am fine with that, but I think it's worth a discussion whether or not we're going to pursue the 2, tasks, I suppose, that Appleton gave us. Either expanding our own network or trying to hurt the good doctor's information system.
That's fair. I mean, one advantage of being close to St. Louis, or in Missouri, is being close to St. Louis, where there's a lot of those independent kin that have been up to all kinds of things. We've helped them before. If we wanted to check in and kind of see what they're doing, understanding that they're probably not going to be sticking too close to us at all. That's my first thought, but not necessarily the best one. But you're right. I think that's a good call, or where we might want to try to go to get more on our side. There's a cairn there. It's small, right? That's right. It's a small cairn that was near St. Louis because it damn near fell. So yeah, we'll stay away from there. There'd already been riots and people getting captured. So not that.
Well, all right then. How would we approach each thing, right? So if we wanted to go back to Colorado, make sure the sept was stable, and then move on to another place to destabilize, that's fine. That one is pretty straightforward. If we wanted to go back to Colorado and expand our network of people we trust there, who specifically we would be willing to bring into this, we could do that. Or if we wanted to, as you mentioned, go somewhere along the way and expand it there, then that means, okay, sure, we need to figure out where we're going to go. If we were going to disrupt the good doctor's information system, where would we start with that? That feels like a William question.
Yeah, I was going to say, we can at least start with Steel Mountain. They might have they've been looking into the good doctor for a little bit, and I haven't heard anything back on information. So they might have some level of depth that we can look into to start destabilizing his network. But as far as the first part, where we grow our own network, we just find like-minded individuals. I know we reached out for help for the kin with HOA issues. We find other non-profit organizations and we basically build a network of those small organizations and build it into something large.
You both have triggered something in my brain. There are game reservations, especially in the Midwest, that corn feed and give sugar to wild game to the point that they're damn near tame, so rich people can kill them. And I think we should go and take out a few of those places, both to maybe do something good for the lupus-born portions of the population, and maybe get a little bit of help with some of that information at the same time. Taking out some rich fucks that hunt, tame deer. That doesn't bother me in the slightest. Make them afraid of spending their money on stupid abomination sports.
Is that big enough? I don't know if that's thinking too small.
It's big enough if we get the right group of people that have the right net worth in a location. It would require a little bit of time and research because people say things on social media because they're foolish. But we could probably slaughter enough influencers and others in a location.
So instead of going for quantity, you're talking about some really high rollers.
Quantitative based on wealth, not just numbers.
Not by people.
There's a lot of poor people.
Yeah.
There's a lot fewer rich people. But maybe the blood is burning a little hot for me. Cooler heads might prevail.
It's an interesting thought, and it makes me wonder if we could track down the CEO of the various apps, websites, etc. that this good doctor uses, if killing them specifically and tying it to those apps or websites might accomplish something.
And even adjacently, back to a previous theme, the insurance companies that would pay them. This would require a little bit of time to see. Again, this time of year, November, it is hunting season. If there are some particular wealthy people taking a particularly disgusting location or vacation at a location that we could get to, which I think we could.
So are you saying we just go right now?
I'm saying we're still striking, and thus far, a major Federal Reserve bank in the last 72 hours was struck with massive piles of money redistributed to people after dozens of people were murdered a week or two ago in Colorado Springs, and then a massive attack occurred against a water treatment plant. So there's something to be said about chaos ensuing rapidly. And if we can divert the resources of law enforcement away from busting the heads of poor people protesting because they just want to work and exist, I'm okay with that. It takes pressure off of other places because money commands resources and respect and influence. Humans aren't above that. Dr. Appleton, I believe that was part of what she was trying to say about the influence and how it spreads. And to Guards the Low's point, if we find folks that are at least connected to some of our problems, it might make them on alert, but it also takes away people that were maybe under the influence.
All right, so there should be likely multiple game reserves on our way back. Say we find the one that's furthest from any cairns to make sure that any manhunts that do take place are away from our Red Talon friends. And while we're on the way, to whoever that might be, maybe William, you could start looking to see who it is we should be targeting to hit. Obviously not who will be there, we'll have to figure that out while we're there. But maybe who we should hit next specifically that would be tied to some of the resources the good doctor has.
Okay.
I mean, influencers like to talk, so I'm sure they've touted if any of them have talked to the good doctor, then I'm sure they've vlogged about it.
They might not have even known that they talked to the good doctor.
Yeah, but they went to his clinic's name, which we know because we figured that out, right? Out of character, she says.
It seems like he'd been hijacking calls and using basically this.
My other thought is, are you able to hack these reserves reservations, like their computers, and get the reservations?
That's
Easy
child's play.
Easy list of names there.
Yeah.
To Google.
I think it would just be better to start hitting the middle and upper management of Valuable Lifeline instead of the influencers, but influencers are just low-hanging fruit.
I also want to strike at the nature of apathy that the worm has spread across humanity. So I want a 2-for-1 on this, but I agree. But there's a reason why this group is also beneficial for us. I'm not here to do all that bitch's dirty work. I just wanted to know what she was up to.
Yeah.
No, I agree. We have a lot that can be gained by killing some high-profile people in the middle of essentially nowhere, especially if we can tie a specific reason to those deaths like we did in Colorado Springs. But I do agree, of course, when it comes to the good doctor, we're striking higher.
So I suppose it means we look at reservations, we scour the dregs of social media and see if we get some opportunity. And we're still just driving along anyway, so if it comes across it, we can detour.
All right.
Meeting our criteria of being not near a cairn, some kind of payoff.
All right. So, William, scouring the internet, you do find a potential hit for one you could hit. You find the Longhorn Giga Ranch. It is found in Texas. It sits with over 25,000 acres in Texas, where you can hunt native species such as deer and things like that, but they also import gazelle, wildebeest. They have breeding programs to create albino variants of essentially every animal that you can hunt. They bring in bighorn sheep, desert sheep from across the world, ibex, and even fucking water buffalo, zebras, and ostriches, all on this huge ranch that you can go in, shoot, and feel like a big ol' hunter with these caged animals that are released in the wild while you chase them down in a jeep and shoot them. Several right-wing influencers, including the famous Chicky Nugget, an 80s singer who had aged out and then did nothing but talk about guns, gives this place a glowing endorsement, as does, of course, the former punk singer Jeremy Lay It Low Bangs, who, of course, songs about sticking it to the man really meant getting rich and shooting helpless animals. And that you should listen to the cops, apparently.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
This ranch sounds like a microcosm of the atrocity. Ugh.
Well, I'll spread that to the crew and put in the directions if we want to go and hit that real quick.
Great wisdom renown heaped upon you, William Grows-Matrices, at the next moot for this one.
Who's to say maybe some Garu sneaks in there?
I think the real question is, what do we do with the animals after the fact?
Nothing. That's way too big for us to do anything about. It's spread over such a wide area that I don't think there's anything we could feasibly do except let them be.
Yeah, we could destroy the banes and things that are on the other side that are feeding upon them and their kin, but otherwise we would just leave the animals, yes.
Okay.
It's about a 16-hour drive. You're not sure how many influencers are there or when. Do you want to go, like, taking shifts or leisurely drive down that way?
What period of time are we in right now in November, Keegan? Are we getting toward holiday?
Getting close. It is November 18th right now.
All right. If there's a way to verify, William, attendees for a thing like the Thanksgiving time frame, because folks want to take a trip, that would give us an idea of numbers and what we might be dealing with. And then that will determine if we need to be aggressive to get down there or take a little bit of time.
Well, I can definitely try and hack into their event planning system.
Cool. That is an intelligence computer, difficulty 9. They actually have some good security on this.
What?
Yep.
Who'd have thought that they actually had decent security? Decent intelligence computer.
Rich people, man. Rich people.
All right, you are able to get in. It is likely, though, if someone does a good scan of their computer, they might see traces of you having been in the system. But yeah, Thanksgiving is going to have a huge turnout. It looks like at least 4 senators, 10 members of the United States House of Representatives, 3 rock stars, and then various high to mid-level CEOs who like to show off their shooting skills amongst their rich friends are there, totaling about 85 people in total on the Thanksgiving holiday.
Well, I'll let everyone know that it's just shy of 100 people of visitors or attendees, and that doesn't include staff. Their security was much higher, so they might have better physical security as well.
The senators alone, and then just these insanely wealthy people. Yes, it's going to be robust. It's going to mean that we're going to have to do this. We're going to have to do this pretty well, and when we do it, it's going to be sudden, and we are too few. But I think we can do. I think we can do this.
It's 15 people each, or 15 to 20 people each. Regular people.
We're going to call for help, which is why we're going to take a little bit of time, and we have enough time to do it.
Is there a Karen closer in Texas that could help us out?
No, but there is one man, Roger, and his very good friend Steven, will probably be able to help get some resources here. And I can also find a way to... I can transport them here if I need to.
I will say that the place that this is happening is somewhere where gunshots are routinely. And I think it will be in our best interest to use that to our advantage. Hunt them as they're hunting, as it were.
I agree. There'd be some suddenness there at first, and then, yes.
Oh, does this mean I get to make a big purchase? Get a hunting rifle of sorts?
Out of character, Sam hates that, it looks like.
No, idea? Great. 0 in firearms, not so great.
Oh no! You're going to be the wild animal that attacks the hunter.
That's where I was thinking.
Yes, you're not going to be. You're not going to be the shooty. You're going to be that a couple parties don't make it back, and then what? But again, there'll be some other folks. I don't imagine when we stop next, Keegan. Zeb will use the good old Silent Strider network. Slash a couple of spirits to get in contact, basically to tell Roger and or Steven, like find a payphone and to tell them we got a job and that I will arrange transportation for them.
Sounds good. That's your next stop. All right.
You got a job, bring your homies.
Yeah. So another day has passed as you get there. You basically get to the ranch area. You've got about 8 days to wait. You do get a call back from Steven via payphone. And Roger is setting for Cleoth, who all know how to at least hold a gun. Take it easy on him. Don't break him. Is his ask. And they'll be there in about 3 days.
All right.
The day passes and... Before we go ahead, William, your phone is blowing the fuck up. Hardcore at about 6 p.m. local time.
Is news notifications or...
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. I will look at my phone then.
Nuclear weapons have struck the United States, sent by China in retaliation of the 2 nuclear explosions that happened on their soil. They have struck NORAD in Colorado Springs, Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, California, New York, Fort Bragg, North Carolina, Port of South Louisiana in New Orleans, Louisiana, and Texas City in Texas, likely striking the Galveston Bay refinery, the largest refinery of oil on United States soil.
As in they actually hit NORAD?
Yeah. Well, they launched the missile. NORAD is mostly standing, but because NORAD was built to survive it, but,
Right.
It has caused some real upheavals. As the news article you have has 7, streaks of smoke next to each other as you're reading through it.
And Roger's people, they were in Washington, D.C., right?
Yes. Roger is alive. The city is not doing well, but many have... many of the Garu have survived, and they're doing everything in their power to keep the Karen that they are trying to care for alive, given the horrendous amount of radiation now.
Well, okay. Well, finding that out, we're to tell the kids to turn back, because they're going to need them more than we are on this. The plan just changed. We're probably going to head home.
Yeah.
You wanted chaos. We didn't even have to do nothing.
Yeah, well, you know.
Well, so you are getting notes from the Sept, just so you know, that they are okay. They are able to keep a lock on it, so there is no rush, because the nuke was meant to be precision. So you can continue this, just so you're aware.
Okay.
The Sept is still
It was
standing.
A tactical nuke.
Yes.
Gotcha.
It was a tactical nuclear strike, yep. So
Are we getting notes on Louisiana and New York as well? Just because Cora's concerned about the green and then about the black Sept down in Louisiana that they
New York
green,
got nuked.
Yeah. New York got nuked. The green is the green's Karen has died as a Sept of unity, and in the face of such violent attack, even though the Sept could have survived the nuclear blast, the sheer destructiveness, not just disharmony, the sheer symbolism of a nuclear attack showing a complete devastation and removal of any sort of unity or desire to work together shattered the purpose of the Karen and the gnosis it drew from and killed it. But several of the Garu are still alive.
Future question. Is there a way to revive Karens?
When they're gone, they're gone. You can start creating areas of new spiritual importance, but that can take centuries, millennia, depending on the Karen.
I was just thinking...
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just thinking that because I know that, America being America, like after a really, really big thing happens, generally for like at least a few months, we're all like, I love you,
Unless you have skin that doesn't look like ours.
Yes, fair enough.
What was the other? Was there another West Coast location? You said. I mean, did you say L.A.? What was the West
LA.
Coast?
Oh yeah, it was L.A.
Okay.
Yeah, L.A.
Okay. And there were like a couple of different Septs
There's
that
a
we had
couple
interacted with.
yeah.
Right.
So you're gonna do some celebrity murder therapy?
I would like to at this point.
Some self-care?
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Definitely.
I would like to make a purchase at the closest store.
Mm-hmm.
It's a firearm store.
Yeah.
For one of the larger rifles to hunt, bison.
Welcome to Herculean Firearms Megamart. You looking for a strong, powerful gun, son? Look at this one here. Almost make you think it's a 50 cal, but it bucks like just a small little thing in the night. Perfect. Steady hand, a child could shoot this thing. In fact, if you watch the news, you'll know that a child already has.
I'll look it over just to see
nice gun.
What it is.
Yeah, it does. It does about 8 dice of damage.
Cool. I will take it. You sold me, son.
Perfect. Can we get a look at that ID there?
Just flash it to him.
Checks out American. You have a good day, son.
Oh, I will also need ammunition if you have that in stock as well.
Oh, of course we do. You want these ones? These ones are good for hunting. These ones are good for target practice, and if you were into home defense, these ones are great. They tend to break up and just rip through the body of that son of a bitch who tries to take your television. King of his castle needs a fucking catapult.
I was planning on going hunting, but, with everything going on, I will take some self-defense as well.
All right, there you go. And here you go. Would you like to supersize these here ammo boxes?
Sure.
Perfect. He drops and he pulls out the big ones. They kind of you see the table kind of bow in a little bit.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. My little girl loves these things. She uses them for kettlebell swings in the morning before she goes to school.
Well, I'll be saying some prayers for her.
God bless.
God bless America.
And God bless it indeed. And we'll see how blessed America is next time. Thank you to everyone who listened. We'll catch you in that next episode. Bye.
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 Catch you then.